Hello again, everybody. I am WJHG News Channel 7 Sports Director Scott Rossman alongside anchor reporter Adrian Andrews. Adrian, how are you?
Scott, I'm doing well on this fine evening. How you doing?
Pretty good. And Adrian, this month of August, a lot of attention on the high school football teams in the area. The very last couple of days of July, starting the fall official fall workouts. The FHSAA setting that date in the at the end. I believe it was the 27th of July, and so teams into their third week of preparations for the season ahead, and that kind of leads us to where we're going tonight.
Yeah, tonight, Scott, like you said, man, we made a trip out to Vernon, talking with the Vernon football program, and its leader, Charles Buggs. And to say the least, Coach Buggs and his Yellowjackets are up against it again this season, Scott. I mean, they head into the 2026 season with the kind of numbers that makes it very difficult to win, so to speak, consistently on that varsity football level at really any class.
Yeah, last year was the first year for Coach Buggs at Vernon. He took over in late August of 25 when another coach bailed on the program after taking the job just a few months before. And all of that in the wake of Lauren Tillman, who his departure. Coach Tillman led Vernon for 2 seasons in 23 and 24, and all that following the sudden and tragic death of head coach Trey Pike in August of 2022. Pike was a Vernon assistant coach who got the job after Vernon's head coach Gerald Tranquil decided to leave and go back to his alma mater at Liberty. So they promoted Coach Pike, and then he suffered a tragic accident which killed him. And all this turnover, and the turnover led to a lot of players leaving the program there at Vernon to go play football elsewhere. And in 2025 and here in the fall of 2026, or heading into the fall of 2026, well, the numbers, Adrian, are still suffering a bit.
Yeah, Scott. I mean, last year the team playing with a fewer than 20 players, and that leading to a winless season this August. They've beefed up those numbers quite a bit, all the way up to 25. So that's still got the kind of number that makes it very tough to compete. Though these Jackets aren't afraid of that challenge. We did speak with Coach Buggs about it, and they put it this way: it's kind of like having to coach and play with one hand tied behind your back. I mean, here's Coach on that. I mean, it's looking, I don't know. What do you think, Scott?
A very difficult situation, and like I said, the way I posed the question was, like you said, playing and coaching with one hand tied behind your back.
Well, I agree with you, Scott, man. It's tough, but, all you need is 11 to play and a few subs, and, you get these kids right, that's willing. We got to get them in shape, get them conditioned, get their heart right. We started off that weight room. Changed a lot of things. It have changed a lot of things for these kids this year. They finally got a year in the weight room and got stronger. But it's a certain way you got to coach when you got less numbers. You got to really regulate practice. You go for a few minutes, then you got to stop and give them breaks. And it's just through the season I got a little system that we do where no matter what in the first month of the season, they might run 3 plays, then we rotate them. Regardless, it's just till they can get in the shape that they need, because we know it's going to be about week 3, 4 before they get in shape.
So 3 or 4 games just to get into full football shape, just because they can't work them too hard here in fall camp, Adrian. As you well know, because you've been out on several of these ball fields like I have in the past few weeks. It's unbelievably humid. It's very hot. And it's tough, whether you're out there in the morning, in the middle part of the day, which is obviously the toughest, or even in the afternoon or late afternoon. You've even gone to some evening practices.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's hot out there. I mean, even still around 7, 8 o'clock. I mean, some of the schools, they played it smart, trying to get out there a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, you still they got the ice tank sitting on the side. They're still having to kind of take those breathing breaks and stuff and trying to rotate those guys as much as possible. So, yeah.
So very tough to scrimmage or practice. Many of these kids, they'll play on both sides of the ball for the Yellowjackets. They don't have any choice but to keep their best athletes on the field pretty much as many plays as you can. And again, the coach talking about hey, play 3 plays and then rotate them out at least early on. And when you spend time out at practice with players like these, well, it's in some way pretty inspiring. These guys are playing for the sheer love of the game and for the pride in their school and their town. They know what they're up against, and they put their faith in their coaches like Coach Buggs and his guys, determined to power through no matter how the odds may be stacked against them game to game.
It means the world, Scott, because for a kid to know that, hey, I may not get a break on Friday night, and know that the numbers are low and trusting in us, and that's our belief. We tell them you have to trust the process, trusting the coach and trusting each other. But it tells me that the heart that they have, the desire that they have, and the school pride. Like I try to be big on team pride, school pride, team chemistry. It just tells me that the heart that they have to be coming out here just with less numbers and just to come out here and grind and play.
There has to be a certain reward in that for you and these other coaches to know what they're sacrificing, to know what they're up against, and here they are out there again. There's got to be some reward.
It's a great reward, Scott. It makes you want to come to work every day, come to practice every day. When you got kids, you know that kids done bought in and want to come and know that the odds against them. If the odds stacked up against them, I mean it's stacked up against us, and know that we're going to be in these trenches together. It's just a great reward. It's just a fulfilling reward for me and all my other coaches. I got a group of great coaches with me that just really enjoy giving back to these kids and feeding to these kids. It's an honor. It's been an honor in this past year after the season just to really be around with these kids. And through this summer, we had a great summer just for them to grind it out. And Scott, we had 25 kids come through the summer, and we kept all 25 kids. So that means volume. That speaks volumes for these kids and their want to play.
Amen to that, Coach. You just, Adrian, have to love young men and coaches that are out there. Again, hate to, keep beating the same note here, but boy, they're up against it. And last year, they certainly took their lumps, 0-10, and they got blown out in pretty much every game. They had one game they had to forfeit because they didn't have enough players to field the team that night. So very, very tough, but again, pretty inspiring when you watch young men like this come out and compete.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't be. I mean, 25 players, my goodness, you can't have any injuries. Ain't that right, Scott?
Right.
But I mean, one team, one fight. I love how you said it, just being out there in the trenches together. It's a family thing. So, I mean, Coach Buggs and Vernon, decided to help to level the playing field just a bit. They would opt out of competing with the FHSAA structure and play this fall in the Sunshine State Athletic Association. Now, that is for the smaller school divisions of what many teams around the state, including 4 of our area teams, Scott, Cottondale, Franklin, Liberty, and Sneads, and perhaps that would give those Jackets just bit of a fighting chance, I think, leading up to this season here.
Yes, sir. That's the whole reason, because when we're rebuilding this program, trying to rebuild the program. A lot of people around here know Vernon have been up and have been good, and they still have those athletes, but now, the talent might be down just a little, but the heart is still there. But these kids, it gives us a better chance for these kids to compete. Last year, we took a beating last year. The kids, they fought through every game, but we wasn't competition to anyone. But now being the SSAA, at least now we can make it to the playoffs and at least get, regardless what your record is, you get a chance to get in the playoff and play a game and still compete. But the schedule we have is I built a schedule for us where we compete more.
So again, Sneads, Cottondale, and Liberty and Franklin among the other area teams that'll play in the SSAA. And I know you went up to Bristol to check in on Liberty a week and a half ago. What were the numbers? For example, they were a rural class team just like Vernon was the past several years. What are the numbers comparatively at Liberty?
Yes, Scott. I mean, Coach T telling me, they're somewhere between 40 to 45. So but that makes a big difference. 10 to 15 more players. That's still some depth that Vernon just doesn't have.
Well, absolutely. And again, small school football, even some big school football, you got guys who are good enough to play on both sides of the ball. But when you have 40 to 45, you don't have to have. You can have 11 guys playing offense and 11 guys playing defense. And again, you might take your star player, your star receiver as your best defensive back, or your fullback might be your best linebacker, those kind of things. But Yeah, the huge difference between even 40 and 25 in terms of playing small school football. And all this, again, just having 25 guys on the roster, well, there's a pressure on every position, but certainly the most important position on a football field, any team, any class, whatever, it is that quarterback spot, and certainly quite a bit of pressure on the young man taking the snaps at Vernon.
You just watch us. We're going to be a pound and pound and pound to run. You know, we're going to let our offense help us on the defense side. Offense is going to be a lot of our defense. We want to try to establish our run game, you know, and then we'll throw the ball when we want. You know, we're in the wing tee, you know, in different versions of the wing tee. It's just control the game and to control how many plays. We're not trying to hurry up and get to the line. We're trying to control the clock. We may snap the ball with 2-3 seconds left. We're just trying to, you know, that's the way it's got to slow it down a little bit. It's not a, you know, not make it a race for us, but kind of slow it down and just kind of monitor it. Make sure we use our timeouts right and everything, just kind of.
Fewer possessions, try to score in 12, 13, 14 play drives and make it a 4-possession game
Yes,
for
sir.
for the opponents. Like
Yes,
that.
sir. Let the possession. What me and my coach talk, we can't, if we start getting over 35 to 40 plays in a game, then we're in trouble because of the numbers we have. We're trying to keep the possessions down, keep the number of plays ran down, and just control the game, play defense on the back end of it. You know, we try to get, if we get 2 possessions, move it 30, 40 yards, we good. You know, but we're trying to score, and if we get within field goal, we're going to kick our field goals and do what we have to do.
So I got a little ahead of myself there talking with the coach. I was thinking we were leading into his comments on the team's quarterback, but really what he was talking about there, what we were talking about there was when you have 25 guys and you're limited in terms of the number of skill position players and players overall, then you really have to game plan accordingly, don't you, Adrian?
You really do. I mean, it's about milking that clock, and that's what Coach talked about. You got to control the ball and control the possession. So I think that's a big thing. Keep those guys fresh as long as you can on the sidelines before they have to go right back out there.
And you heard the coach mention the wing tee offense, and that is a bit of an equalizer. If you have some kids up front who can angle block, because a lot of the wing tee blocking, the guys up front don't have to push their guys out of the way. They just have to get in the way. So, again, the great Jim Scroggins, who was a very successful coach at Bay High School, he loved the wing tee and led a Bay High football team with, you talk about depleted numbers. I think they had 28 or 29 players on the varsity level. They were playing in the 4A class, but they had some kids who were Division I football players, and he had that wing tee, and they perfected it. They had 5 really good offensive linemen. They had a good trigger man quarterback, and they had 3 really good running backs, one in particular by the name of Pittman, who was he was all-world in high school, and they carried that wing tee all the way to the state championship game, lost because of a late turnover. But again, you got guys moving a lot of different directions. The ball can go straight up the middle with that dive play. It can go outside. The quarterback can keep it, and it's an interesting offense, again, when the other team has a lot more numbers or maybe a lot more skill position players than you do, Adrian.
Scott, you mentioned the key word is the quarterback, and having a good quarterback at that to deliver the ball. So, I mean, with that comes the pressure.
Right.
And specifically, we're talking about this one young man under the center who's going to be handling a lot of that action. He's a senior, Scott.
His name is Corbin O'Connor. He played quarterback for me last year. You know, this is his second year in with us playing quarterback, and it's a lot of pressure on him. You know, it's a lot of pressure on him just to be the guy, you know, teaching him how you're command of everything. You got to make sure everybody lined up right. You know what's going on, know what everybody's supposed to do. So when my quarterback get a lot of pressure put on him, you have to have really tough skin to deal with me when you're a quarterback.
So the stage is set for the Yellowjackets as they prepare to begin this 2026 season and carry the mantle for the proud community of Vernon. They struck a form of gold, in my opinion, when they hired Coach Charles Buggs there. He'd spent his entire coaching career as an assistant at Blountstown and a little while at Port St. Joe, just 1 year there, I think. He has the right attitude, Adrian, and the demeanor, and truly seems like a man dedicated to fostering this program and making it something that players, parents, boosters, students, and faculty at Vernon High School can be proud of.
These kids, it's just, like I say, it's a blessing to be here in this community because it's such a tight-knit community, and you have all the support you need from your community and the parents and everything. And I just love how they support their kids and how, you know, they just, everybody knows Vernon is a big geographic. I spend at least an hour and a half to almost 2 hours in picking them up and taking them home, but that time with them as I'm picking them up is a time that have built bond with us, and I really enjoyed being with them.
You just have to love that, don't you, Adrian? There's a coach who obviously cares about football, but he really cares about the young men within his program, his coaches as well. Again, you can feel it. Not a lot of ball players out on the hill there, which, by the way, is a great location to go out and practice. Kind of got a vibe, and you're almost in North Georgia or South Carolina because you're up on that hill and you can see nothing but green around you. It's kind of a cool environment, but the energy level was fantastic. Again, it was a little cloud cover the day I went out there, and then the sun came out and you could feel those kids were, you know, they're sweating their behinds off, but they're working. The coaches were encouraging, and they were correcting and doing what they could, and they were tackling each other. At one point, I said to one of the assistant coaches, I was like, well, let's put a jersey on that quarterback there. Let's not have him being tackled. But he just said, hey, we got to do what we got to do.
Yeah, you got to put that red jersey on, huh? Well, they definitely need that sort of that tough, you know, that toughness going moving forward, because this schedule, boy, Scott, it's a doozy. Franklin County starting things off week 1.
Well, that's the preseason classic.
Yeah.
So that's
a big one.
That's going to be tomorrow night, in fact, for Vernon.
Yeah. And then they move on to at Dixie County. So I'll be on over there at Cross City, and then they move things over at Liberty Counties, but that will be at home. So a good game for them, senior night, actually, Scott. And then moving on over at Weewahitchka, and that's on early September. Then they got things at Cottondale. So, I mean, that's a home game. FAMU DRS, that's my alma mater. I went to school there.
All right.
Yeah.
Rattlers, baby Rattlers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Then now as October moves in, this is where things get a little interesting for them. Back on the road at Graceville. That's homecoming for Grace, I'm assuming. And then then they're going to play at home Jefferson. They're a traditional small school power. So, again, talk about having the odds stacked against you. Yeah. Moving along at Central High School.
Should be able to compete with Central.
Should be. And then this one right here, at Chipley. And that's going to end the season there. I mean, obviously they want to move forward for postseason play, but at Chipley. Scott, what do you think about that one?
Coach Buchanan and his Tigers, they're just they play at a very high level for a small school program, so that's going to be a tough one to end the season. But again, hopefully Vernon can kind of mature and play themselves into the kind of a competitive force that they want to be. And we are certainly rooting for the Vernon Yellowjackets, aren't we, Adrian?
We really are.
I mean, we root for all of our local teams, but man, when you see young men like this out there, you know, again, playing for the love of the game, that's truly inspiring.
25 strong.
We appreciate the time Coach Bugs spent with us there at practice, and again, appreciate the effort he and the entire coaching staff there at Vernon High School are putting in. That's going to do it for this edition of 7 Plus Sports Talk, presented by Bill Bird Kia. Thanks for tuning in, and on behalf of Adrian, I'm Scott, and we'll see you later.